Hey, everybody. How y'all
And
doing
we're just
tonight?
getting tons of hay inflation here.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the
Like,
inscription stream.
uh, JC, are you not considering what this will do to the hay economy?
I
God.
am. I think you're not considering how much hatred and malice I have.
The horses, what will they do?
You see, by overinflating the hay economy, now all of the world governments will collapse, leaving me to pick up their ashes.
Damn, you guys are inflating the unfunny economy.
Hmm.
Who asked?
If you're not careful, I'm gonna start inflating your ass into your belly.
I only found
Uh,
that funny because there was just as much of a reaction to it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the show on the road.
We are, in fact, gaming. Let me copy over the
I knew those
audio.
things.
Get our bullshit meters nice and
Our
running.
bullshit meters? I don't like bullshit meters.
You don't
Not
like
a fan.
Why don't
bullshit
you like
meters?
bullshit meters? They're the only thing that can measure you.
No, the only thing that can measure me is a thermometer. I don't know.
How do we queue and loop on Mi 6?
I don't think you can because Me6 is a piece of shit.
True.
Let's try that. Whatever. So, when the party had last left off, they had just recently gone through the elevator down to the newest floor of the dungeon, when suddenly, the entirety of it, their simple stone carriage, ground to a complete halt. Immediately afterwards, after just a very short time, a large metal slab crushed through the ceiling, narrowly dodging most of the party members, before the door was pried open by a fleshen monstrosity, one that the party had seen in their previous delves. It was not hostile to them, and a single voice from a masked creature a good few feet away called out to them, "I trust I have your attention?"
What really matters now is what you intend to do with that attention.
Quite simply, I would like to have a little bit of a chat with you, darlings.
Lork looks to the others.
Before we
Richter-
do, what is this place? We've been here before.
She just gestures around, puts out her arms. This is my fine home, a place all my own.
He lightly nods.
And of course, you are more than welcome to stay in it for now. Oh, but where are my manners? And she begins to have a little bit of swirling in the with her hands in front of her, and the flesh beneath the ground kind of begins to pull up and swirl and form a table and chairs around it, from which she promptly sits down at one.
Very reluctantly, Darius sort of takes a single step outside, slowly making his way to the table.
Now, I understand that we may have gotten off on a wrong foot. My creatures tend to be very erratic at night. They behave of their own accord. but from what I heard, you handled it quite well.
As well as we could.
She
You
puts
should
her elbows on the table. It sags and squishes a bit as she does so before rebounding ever so slightly.
Lorik very pointedly remains standing.
So what is it that you want to discuss with us?
Quite frankly, I'd just like to know more about what you know of that elevator of yours. I have very poignant opinions about Andromache, and would like to know how they're doing.
And Dromaki.
Oh my, they must not have talked to you very much anymore.
Do you mean that Andromache is the one that governs over this? And he like nods back to the elevator.
Of sorts. And in short, yes. I'm sure that if they were able to listen in here right now, they'd be having a fit of me telling you, but they don't very much like this place, as I'm sure you can imagine. Hell, they don't even know you're here yet. They think you're still traveling wherever it is you were going.
Apparently so. Although I can't really blame it for the reaction we got the last time we were here.
She just looks over at the one holding the door and says, I'm sure it's fine now. Please just scurry off. And it moves, not completely leaving, but staying about the distance that it is shown now. The creature, that is the serpent, remains hovering above with its blade still very much within the elevator. Off in the distance, Chad, through this series of... Whoop, that was me grabbing you. Not what I wanted to do. Through this crack in these kind of leaden stone rocks that are jutting out from the earth, you see a small bit of almost like barricades and wooden uh, structures far off in the distance with a bit of grass nearby.
So all you wanted to know was what we knew about, again, Andromache? Was it?
In part, but more so than what you know now, to propose an allyship. They are not as kind or benevolent as you might think, and I know you certainly seem to have gotten off on the wrong foot for me, darling, but trust me when I say that they are not a good person.
I think we'd gotten that idea a long time ago.
And
Before
so
we
rather than keeping this as a hostile arrangement, if you would be so kind to simply keep your eyes out and as you go along your merry way to wherever it is you go for whatever it is that they are having you fetch, all the better.
I do hope you forgive my impudence, but I'm not wont to make allyships or deals quickly. I've had something of a bad experience with that in the past. Might I at least know the name of the one we are allying ourselves with?
Of course. She stands up for a moment, nods her head a little bit, ends up taking off her mask to do so. It's a little bit strange as when she come on, switch modes. There you go. As she does so, her skin underneath is just as white and pale as the clay mask, which now rests on the table. These three gems kind of protruding out from the front of her head. Cassandra, or the matron, depending on where you might ask.
And one more thing, just between, independent of the party, one might say, just between you and me, as a sort of trade for our assistance. It's nothing particularly difficult at all.
I'm all ears.
What do you know about the current state of the Night Serpent? Dendar.
I know they've been a pain in my ass many times before, and that right now, they haven't been around to check up very often. She kind of gestures to the one behind. He often likes to try to take them, but she kind of looks off in the distance. Almost reminiscing, kind of, I won't say ignorant of you for a moment, but very nonchalant, not caring for you very much, until she comes back and she looks over to Strunhoff and says, my.
Is something the matter?
Not at all. She's just mostly staring at you.
Quick question. Could I have Hate make a religion check to see if she'd recognize the title of the matron?
Sure. Go for it.
Hey, not bad.
Probably not.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Unlucky.
So, I must ask you, where did you find that? As she points to the amulet at his chest.
It's a bit of a story, but inheritance, really.
Does it mean something to you?
Yeah, but it would be so rude of me to just take it or even ask it. It seems like if you have it, it's yours. I'm already asking so much.
I am curious, though. Why do you want it? Or what is your relationship with it?
It once belonged to an old friend.
Could you tell me a bit more about this friend?
Where to start? They were very generous, a good tinkerer. Had a knick-knack for making things. Often enjoyed almost creating life from the machines they worked with. Long time gone, though, many, many years.
Enough years for a lifetime?
Depends on whose, but for yours, very, very many, yes.
I see.
God, it's been so long since I've even heard the word years. Would any of you care for anything? Must be a terrible host just having you be here with nothing to do.
Not exactly, but you have piqued my curiosity. You seem to be knowledgeable in this sort of affair regarding icons and their ilk. Are you one of their number?
Not yet.
Hmm.
You see, I'm getting asked a lot of questions, and many of mine have been vague. I'm trying to be forthcoming here, very honest, trying to answer your questions in good faith.
I think we've met someone in a similar situation to yours a while back.
Aye. In fact, I might have something to offer you relating to that, just to show good faith between our deal. Have you ever come into contact with someone who seems to be almost an aspiring icon like yourself? We refer to him as the Collector. He
Hmm.
seems to keep some sort of almost zoo.
He goes by Collector now, huh? Yes. Yes, I have.
I don't think he ever actually introduced himself to us. That's just what we called him.
And here I was hoping I would have information that you didn't.
How's old Calidus doing anyway?
He and I struck something of a deal. I'm to remain with him after my natural lifespan ends for as long as time permits.
Rather like him.
Indeed, it's was something of a improvement from my previous situation, though that predicament has passed. In times forgone, I was dedicated to the Night Serpent, hence why I asked.
This might be a bit of a stretch, but do you know of an eccentric mage who goes by the name Lo?
That I do not know.
Ah,
Well, if you seek him out and manage to make I might say, more slime-based creature, if that is within your powers, he might have much time to speak with you, if that is what you are in want of.
Not so much, no, darling, but if I might ask another question, has have they in Dromiki, excuse me, have they given you any gifts directly? Not so much sending you out on their errands to find what it is that they want, but to directly something to each of you?
The most he has given us is a message saying that coming to your floor was a mistake.
wasn't that the Dracolich floor that he said was a mistake?
I believe he made,
He
perhaps?
only gave us one note. No. He gave us a note about the Dracolich floor and after sending us to the island.
That was my mistake then.
God, it's been so long.
Ironic then that he would make a comment about that floor and not about the landing here with your relationship, it seems.
As long as we repair up that terrible little box of theirs, they won't even know.
So you were the one who repaired it last time. Is that correct?
They give a bit of a shrug. They just look around a little bit. In particular, You have quite a few less than last time you came by, don't you? Hard times?
Some left for their own, some left for others. None died. Not at least that we know of.
There is one that I think we left here, though.
It is rather a large space, but if it means something to you, I could keep an eye out, as you keep an eye out for me.
They were petrified. They were one like myself. I worry that I may have condemned them to a fate worse than death by neglecting to realize that they weren't just a statue when I first encountered them.
Then I look forward to providing them to you once you come back.
And how exactly will we come back?
She kinda reaches into the ground, and after a couple moments, you hear some squishing, some popping, and eventually out comes this, like, leaden tube or pipe, about, like, 6 inches across and an inch in diameter. And it has these red runes that flow around the entirety of it. The very tip of it has this thin slate. It narrows down to a point and sticks out in a manner very similar to that of the key card from which she hands to you.
If I'm understanding this correct, we can... Lork attempts to take the other spinner off of the key card to test his theory. Or not spinner, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
The dial.
It takes a moment, but pops out.
Interesting.
Do keep in mind, try not to leave it in any time that you were going traveling somewhere else.
Of course.
We wouldn't want him to catch wind now, would we?
Aye. And you seem opposed to this Andromache's agenda. Do you have any idea what it is?
More so opposed to them as a person and how they've treated me and my family in the past. We used to be close, and after killing many of my family members, to put it bluntly, knowing that now all they do is sit there waiting.
What are they waiting for?
I've told you enough. I'm sure that once you come back and you have a bit more, I'd love to talk more.
Alright then.
Stay as long as you like. If it starts getting dark, be sure to hide away, go about.
Aye.
But until then, ta-ta.
I have one last question.
The table kind of disappears as she looks at you.
In several places we've encountered these cat or rabbit-like creatures that have mushrooms for heads and a variety of strange properties. I was wondering if you might know anything about them. They don't exactly seem to be of our plane. And, well,
They sound adorable as the ground beneath her kind of begins to warp in a spiral pattern, slowly pulling her down until she disappears underneath the earth as the flesh recombines and quickly scars and heals.
We should leave.
Aye.
Agreed.
We were going to head to Chibalo anyway.
And why flesh?
Why does the collector perform lobotomies on every creature that enters his collection?
Not every. Darius says as he enters.
Most.
The sword is
This is
pulled.
interesting.
The sword is pulled out from the elevator, and in its place, these two bots that you have experienced and seen before are in their place, currently mending and repairing the elevator itself.
Schronhoff, Rifter, what do you make of all this?
Rifter is very intrigued by the bots. He's actually come out of his hiding corner, and he's more so just examining it, kind of stroking his feathers, and he just says, "Interesting. A unique design. Entirely abnormal. But yes, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them."
Well, she's given us more to go by than whatever else is controlling the dungeon, so might not be the wisest choice to trust her, but it's our only choice for now.
We can follow and agree and deal with her without trusting her. We don't necessarily need to give everything.
Aye, exactly.
I'm willing to bet that the information we received was accurate. I just don't trust whatever ends they have in giving us to it.
The Collector,
Exactly.
or Calcus as I guess we now know him, seems to be good faith when discussing with me. Once we're done with our venture in Chibalo, I might head it to his floor to see
It
if
might not be a bad idea.
I can get more information speaking with him.
Worth a shot.
You can join if you'd like, but I know you didn't leave on the best of terms.
I may want to follow you for my own purposes.
Aye. And Schronhoff?
Say again?
Lork, just kind of generally asking for your opinion here.
Right, it was supposed to be on loop.
On going back to the zoo floor, or
The collector, Cassandra, all of this.
Everything.
well, Cassandra commenting on how she would have loved to have my necklace, knowing full well that she could have taken it if she wanted to. I have a little bit of trust in her, but
It's clear at
we'll
the
see how that
baseline she
goes.
needs something from us.
Everyone needs something. It's up to find who will give it to them.
I just
Here's
want
my
to know,
position.
does her getting involved with that thing, and Rifter points to Strunhoff's necklace, put us in better faith or worse?
I suppose we'll find out in due time.
I'm sure Calcus will be able to tell us more.
JC, what was the name of the one that she's opposed to again?
Andromache.
Andromache. Can you write that out, please? Thank you. She said that Andromache had been having us gather things. What sort of things have we gathered, and each floor that would be relevant.
And just to make sure I remember her saying this correctly, Andromache is who is supposedly administrating essentially the elevator.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
There's several floors that we didn't actually recover anything from. On first, we just killed kobolds and brought back. Did we actually bring back the Tarnosian Standard? I forget.
There was a shield. That's all I remember particularly. I wonder if Andromache will take more of an interest if he figures out that we spoke with Cassandra. Perhaps he'll be a little bit more forward with us. Because clearly she doesn't know much about. She at least can't see huge parts of what we do outside of her domain. She seemed very intent on him not knowing.
So it seems like he has some kind of interest in us doing something on each of these floors. But what?
There's actions that he wants us to be taking across planes. Perhaps it's less that he's
Not even
looking for
across
something from
planes.
each floor. Perhaps he's just looking for people to do work for him. Every god needs its servant. And we seem to be doing exactly what he wants every single floor. We go, we cannot come back until we've done what we need. Or what he needs.
I think I just had a realization. You remember the second floor, yes?
The undead, correct?
Yes, the undead. That one zombie who seemed to be lucid. That thing that could phase through everything.
Aye.
Do you remember what happened shortly after we got back from that floor?
There was a news of some undead uprising out of an area, correct?
Specifically, Lork is gonna dig through his bag for the letter from Executor Lay. He doesn't throw shit away, okay?
He has a binder.
A little bit of stone shippings fall down from the ceiling as more bits of it get repaired and reacclimated by the spider bots working on it. They kind of clink to the ground before dissolving.
The undead incursion was from Jorah Highstone's tomb. I think the reason that that one zombie didn't know any of what we were talking about is because he was, well, ancient.
From the era of Jorah Highstone.
I think he may have been Emperor Jorah Highstone.
He seemed to have not a large enough place in the tomb for that to be so.
Do we know if that was his specific resting place, though? He may have been awake before then and just chosen to reside in that specific crypt.
Perhaps not. We are significantly... This feels like a much better lead to follow than Chibalo, but...
The
I
tomb?
think- yes, the tomb. Understanding what's there. We are much stronger now.
Aye. And if I'm not mistaken, that was when another outbreak of the plague happened.
in the same area?
Aye, that's where Executor Relay got infected. That
Happily
makes me
un-
wonder, do you think maybe that thing that frankly nearly killed me and Rifter over there fell through could have been responsible for the plague in some fashion?
Perhaps. This just seems to be so many different things. I'd say for now we follow our current leads, but we have multiple things to go off of now.
Aye.
And
My
even if
only
that... Wait, never mind.
Go
I'm
on.
worried about that lead though, because didn't the Delmarevs go and clear the incursion entirely?
Aye.
Do you believe they might have killed all of the undead within the crypt?
Very possibly.
Still something we could check. And I think the next time we, by accident, end up here, hopefully at least our change won't be so, or our arrival won't be so unwelcomed, at least if it's quote unquote not night.
My thought is that perhaps other outbreaks of the plague have come from groups like ours. Perhaps there's something drawing groups to specific areas. Maybe there are other things like that creature.
Do we have a map? Could we get a map of where all of the different outbreaks occurred?
That would probably be in either the Auspicia or the Vitalis' records. But the problem is we can't correlate that to any of the other parties because they wouldn't have known that they were on this plane, more like.
Yes, but we do record the sigils.
Alright then.
Even if we could see some vague correlation, we could even use our own sigil comparatively to the tomb.
Right. I doubt that's its entire endgame, though. Because the thing with the Dryad, what did it want there?
I'm unsure. Perhaps it was something to do with the plane. That Dryad seemed to be similar enough to an icon. He might have some business within the plane, and the Dryad's discomfort, I might say, could have been contrary to his plan or his will or whatever.
I didn't say this at the time, but the sigil lit up when we actually heard the Dryad's initial explanation.
Really?
Hmm.
We didn't even need to do anything.
So I wonder why he even sent us there in the first place.
Well, the Dryad is still there. We have many different, feels reductive to call them all icons, but I don't know what else to call them. Sub-icons to speak to. All of them felt good faith between Calcus and Cassandra and the Dryad.
There's one more we're forgetting. Do you remember the floor with the crystalline trees? The cave? The machines, the lightning elementals?
Aye. What about it?
Do you think that may have been related?
It's felt like such a straightforward job to take the gem, but we don't know what the purpose of the gem was on that plane, so I can't make
You
any...
remember that when we slew the last elemental, whatever it was on that final machine died, right?
Mm-hmm. What of it?
And you remember... This is a long shot, but I wonder if that may have been one of Andromache's enemies, or someone related to Cassandra.
We just don't know. We don't have enough information to draw conclusions about that.
And what about Chibalo then? Did he want... What could he have even wanted there? Did he want Rack to go berserk or something like that?
No, I think it's something else. I'm pretty sure that the elevator eventually would have sent us to Korheim. It has to be connection with Struenhoff's necklace and the bodies. Do you remember what Cassandra said? Her old friend used to tinker with life. His necklace was the key to the entrance. How long do you think they've been there? These labs?
And what is Highstone's involvement with that?
Who knows?
Let's get to Chibalo.
Aye.
Lork puts the original dial back in the key card and sticks it to the Chibalo floor. And yeah.
As you put it back in, it starts on a blank that you put in. And as you go to turn it to the Chipalo floor, it is not turning.
Alright, yes.
Oh, the spider's not done yet. He sort of looks around.
It's probably got a couple more minutes, but not much.
Huh.
We can skip that if you guys want.
Unless Richter or Struenhoff have anything to say. I know that myself and Darius have been taking up a lot of the screen time so far.
He doesn't disagree with any of your summations. He just thinks that Richter's gonna go ahead and he will chime in and he will say, I still think it's best for us to just go along our current route. I think that Chibalo is actually a stronger lead at the moment. I think it's a lot more likely for us to find other things. This is sort of information we're just now coming across. I don't know if it's necessarily the best thing to immediately jump onto.
Of course.
And there's also the worry that if we start chasing other leads immediately, who knows what he's been listening to. He may be suspicious if we divert from our previous path.
Well, if Cassandra was correct in her assumption that he cannot hear in this plane, he should have heard nothing.
Right, but if we divert from Chibalo, assuming that he was able to hear us planning previously because of the key card or something.
I agree following this lead first. I just do think we have more things to follow now.
Aye, of course.
We know where to go after Chibalo, assuming that that lead either dies or ends.
And even if it doesn't, the tomb would be a quicker lead to follow than likely anything else.
Mm-hmm. It would just be a quick check. Hopefully.
Maybe an hour or two. The amulet. That was what he wanted us to find in the tomb. You remember the one, right?
The one that had that being in it?
Right. The one that Zell did something with, I don't even know.
It left the amulet somehow. He never explained how that happened.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. You're right.
So why would something like that be in the tomb of an ancient emperor of.
You
We should
know,
wait to try and surmise more things until we've gotten more information. It could just
Sorry.
cloud our judgment.
Mm.
If we try and make
Apologies.
assumptions on little information and then go in expecting the assumptions.
Right. My mind's just racing right now.
Aye, rightfully so.
Let's try and get out of here then.
And I
When
think
the
that...
spiders.
Sorry, never mind. Go ahead.
When the spiders are done with their work, Lork is gonna try again to set the keycard to Chibalo.
It's a little bit springy. It kind of resists just a touch, but you're able to, like, without too much force, bend it over to get it to Chibalo.
Shall we?
We shall.
Boy.
Yeah, let's get some other music up and running.
Gotta get the RPG desert level.
First of all, I'd like to show the lad the ye old.
Oh my god.
Sorry about that.
One of these things is not like the others.
Yeah, we gotta get the obligatory desert level music going.
One of these things are not like the others.
Who the fuck is D's?
Oh, you're not cultured.
You're not cultured.
Goodbye, baby Slork.
No, that's okay. We have bigger Slork now. Bigger Slork can just eat baby Slork.
As you take a step out from the elevator, you look around, seeing the great cliff to your right, overshadowing the entirety of these brick and black stone structures. To the side, out from the cliff face's shade, lies a great fields of green grass with sparse trees to provide some cover.
So how exactly did we get to Chibalo? I've never actually been there.
Roughly a week's travels in west-northwest.
Would you like me to tell you that that's absolutely not right?
Yes, it is.
It was pretty long.
I think you might be using real world weeks.
Oh yeah, no, I'm using real world weeks. It's roughly 2 weeks then in this. Because Lork was gone for about a month, which means it would be 2 weeks there and 2 weeks back.
No, I was only gone for about 3 weeks.
Then it wasn't even 2 weeks. Then I was
It
closer
was
to
because because of the elevator teleporting to you guys.
Ah,
Yeah.
right. So it
Best
was...
approximation would be about 12 days to get there.
So yeah, roughly 2 weeks.
Well, it doesn't seem to be making our job any easier. Darius, would you like to lead the way?
I mean, I'm not from this area, but
You were here previously, though.
I was, but it
You
was a
let us know
while
my
ago.
absence.
It's like it's like me asking you to guide me in the most farthern northeast reaches of the Empire. Sure, you might have been there once, but just because you're from the Northern Empire doesn't mean you know everywhere. Let's see. I think
In my defense, that was not something I was considering.
Were there more statues here?
To my knowledge, there was only the one. Although I was only here the once.
Well, nonetheless, we should get moving quickly if we want to.
There's a great deal of stone wreckage in each of these piles of bricks.
Do we want to peruse it just in case?
Might not be the worst idea.
All right.
Anyone who's doing so, would you mind making me an investigation as a strength check?
Ah.
Strength.
Lorik, these are kind of heavy. Can you lend me your gauntlets?
I can just. Actually, you know what? That is a fair point. Yeah, Lorik's gonna give Darius his gauntlets, and he's going to use it with his regular muscles. Just subtract 1 from the roll that I make.
Okay. Alright, 17.
17.
And then add 5 to the roll that I make. Oh.
He is gaming. Do neither of you have investigation proficiency?
Nope.
That was so unfortunate. I saw that shit coming too.
Lorik, as you're searching through, you eventually see something that looks much more misshapen than the rest. A metal hammer, which, following through, you find is wrapped very tightly in a death grip by some mechanical creature, which continues to hold on to it with the best of its power, despite very clearly being non-responsive. Dead by some metrics, even.
Boy, what the hell? But
Do we think this hammer has any significance?
not that I know of. I'd be a fool to say it has no significance to anything. I'm not finding anything, though.
Riftry, do you mind offering me some assistance? There may be something that might be recognizable here.
I take a look, but he said to do investigation as strength. Do I still do that in this case, or can I use just raw
just asking you to look
investigation?
for stuff that you would recognize on the robot.
Oh, would that be a perception check?
Sure.
Cool. I like perception.
Yeah, he perceives.
So
perceive.
the big thing for you is that almost all of the details of the outfit, like the little bit of clothes that they are wearing and some of the seams of metal on its, like, where its skin would be, all of it is very remarkably similar to that of the Dragonborn, which was brought through the elevator.
I see.
They are, if not a pair, certainly of a set.
I just snap my fingers. Rifter, like, it's on the tip of his tongue. He's like, do you remember the guy, Dragonborn, came through, here?
The statue, yes?
It's the same.
No, it's not. Clearly not a Dragonborn.
It's the same type. I can recognize armor when I see it.
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
they were
not
the
the
same
obviously
adventuring
not.
company
I was just concerned with you. You seemed. I know you don't have the best dictionary.
Fair enough. I respect it.
So, do we think they were part of the same adventuring company or something?
Hard to say. Does the armor look more military or more like professional, or does it look more like I could buy this on the side of the street?
It doesn't look like armor at all. It looks like leather but metal.
Oh. Okay, in that case, Rifter makes the judgment call of, well, it's so unique. I hesitate to say that would be anything other than organized.
Are we going to be moving something heavy into the elevator?
Oh, wait, yeah, a friend, the blacksmith.
Hmm. Perhaps we should give this one a bead, just in case.
So do we want to leave it in the elevator with a bead for now? As we leave?
Let's
Sounds
Or do
like
we
take
want
it
to
back
come back for
right
it?
now.
I don't
Oh,
want to go up
turn
and
off,
then
what'd you
down
say?
again.
Smirnoff, you said something, right?
No, I did not.
Oh, sorry, I thought you did. It would be a short trip, especially if you aid me with the gauntlets.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, just put it in there for now. We'll get to it later.
Up and
Moving down
up and
to
down.
Hectorum to give it to. Uh, I hate that I can't remember his name right now.
Or we could just offload it immediately and tell
Oh,
Big
tell
Man
Urgoth.
tell Urgoth to take care of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's also probably good.
Ask him to do it as a favor. Shall Urgoth acquiesce?
Both?
I mean, like, you're asking Urgoth. Like, he's not here.
No,
Okay.
we were
Right,
speaking
we were
out of
gonna do the
character
thing.
because we weren't expecting to go through and direct RP like the full up down.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
we
then
were
here's the. Like, as you guys enter the elevator, the springiness that you found trying to adjust the keypad from that blank slot is much stiffer this time, and it's almost impossible to get it even to go to 14, let alone all the way down to 0.
That's unfortunate.
Okay, we leave him here then, for now.
Alright. In the elevator.
Can always come back. Then I'd say we have bueno adios master for now.
There's the
There's D's.
on the map. Alright, Darius, you lead the way.
Give me one moment. I have to remember the direction that we're going. Double check this. That looks familiar. No, that's not it.
As you immediately start to take your way out from the cliff sides, you see some of the old campsite where you had met those. You won't call them friendly orcs, but less than hostile.
Less than hostile. True.
Alright, this is the direction. Is there anywhere you would like us to stop, JC?
Nope.
Okay.
Just end up getting down a lot faster of a time than previously. About 9 days this time.
It's true, we didn't stop for a bony boy that almost wiped the party.
True, true. My favorite part.
You've also gotten slightly better at navigating the entirety of all these rugged hills.
Did it once before. Hopefully I'm a little bit better this time.
This ain't my first rodeo. Me at my second rodeo.
As you step forward, you see that, in contrast to last time, there are no guards manning the front gate, and the front gate is currently opened.
Alright.
Is the sky supposed to do that?
Oh,
Yeah, I guess I
yeah.
should probably give that descriptive scene. Yeah. The closer you get to the city, the longer the nights grow and the shorter the days grow until, at the city itself, the sky is in a perpetual state of early night. The silver of the shining moon illuminates the city at all times with its gentle, if brighter than normal glow, as the normally yellow sandstone instead burns with this pale hue all about it, giving everything this surreal, almost dreamlike state.
Oh,
Here's,
this is somewhat unsettling.
you get used to it.
I just made a history check to see if Richter would remember from teachings and people that he's known if the sky does that, and I think with the 19 he does.
He
And you
understands
were
that the
already
sky
here.
does not do that.
Oh, the sky does not do that. Oh, okay.
Mhm. In normal circumstances, the moon does not tend to stay where it is. It tends to move.
And there isn't usually two moons.
Mm-hmm.
Here's to hoping we're not recognized. Pretend you're lizard folk, please, Lork.
I will.
Just
Of
for,
course.
and at least try and obscure the Delmarev iconography symbol.
Lorik is going to attempt to wear his cloak more like a shawl in this case.
To cover the.
And he adopts a bit of a unnatural hunch that he wouldn't normally have.
Okay. So, just double checking as we enter the city. We're going to re-explore that underground area. See what's remnant after the fires. Wonder
Whoops.
wonder how the political scene is. How the Red One's father is doing.
You make your way into the city, and for those of you who have been here, there's much less hustle and bustle than the times you had come previously. There's very few people out in the markets. Most of the stalls have been shut down, and there are far less guards flying through the air in different each of their locations.
It's
This
rather.
is strange.
I wasn't as empty. For how close to Grosh we are, I really didn't expect.
Gods, how long has it been?
A long time. We
Over
still
half
had
a year for you all, right?
we still had August with us.
I hope he didn't cause too much trouble here.
He ate the head magus.
Once we go back down, I'm sure we'll find out just how much trouble we did cause.
Lord looks at Darius as always pleading for that to be a joke.
I wish it was a joke, Lorik.
Yes.
Perhaps before we go down, it might be prudent for us to ask what's going on in the city. And perhaps let people know, perhaps give some information on what's going on in the Perun Empire.
People
Before we
here would
get
be interested.
before we before we go any deeper, we have just come from across the desert.
All right.
Aye.
We picked up Strunhoff on a bordering village who is looking to get some work. He's joining us. We've been taking work across the kingdoms.
Wouldn't
right.
it be easier to just lie and say that he's a Yuan-Ti?
It's will quickly fall apart if there are any UNT.
Hmm.
And the last time I was here, there was. So,
Ah. All right then. I trust your guidance.
what stalls are currently open? Is it just this one?
It's just the one.
What's he got on it?
Potatoes and other vegetables.
Other veggies.
Oh, hey, I think I remember that stall. Out of character.
Well, let's get a little bit of food plus some information. Why don't we? Darius sort of makes his way over to the stall.
The Minotaur nods his head at you a little bit. How?
Hail, friend. He sort of eyes over the stock. Crops look fantastic.
That I do. Grew them myself. He kind of moves over a little bit, picking up some of what's kind of like a lettuce. It's like a lettuce with a big pulp in the middle, almost like a beetroot. And he says, "These ones quite sweet, if that's your take."
Perhaps. What do you have more on the side of aromatics? Types of onions, sort of bases?
Hmm. For cooking themselves or for after?
Cooking.
Hmm. He moves, pops open one of the barrels from underneath and ends up pulling out a couple, almost leek-like, oniony, long-stringed vegetables.
Lorik.
Here, he chops off a little bit and quickly rubs it before handing it to you.
You called.
I'm looking at these crops, and there seem to be these types of leek-like onions. I know something of the general formula of cooking, but I figured I'd get your expertise on this.
Lork gives the vegetable a very critical eye.
As you,
Would that be like a chef's utensils roll or something like that?
if we were in season 2, I would, but we are
Even
not.
though I have the proficiency?
You do not need to.
Okay.
As you go through and you take a look at it, you see that it is in fact a vegetable.
Guys, it's a
so.
vegetable!
Yeah, big
JC
fun.
showing very painfully that he does not know much
Mhm.
about cooking.
Listen, okay. When he moved his hands over it and kind of shaked it a little, squeezed it a little bit after he hadn't cut it, it like has a little bit of not quite a sear, but it's kind of been cooked, and the little bit of cells in it have kind of compressed a little bit, and so the edges are a little bit squishier than that of the center. It gives off this very like bitter taste, but a very sweet aroma, and it. Wow, nice, good man. And as it kind of separates and cracks and splinters, a lot of that bitterness gets much stronger.
It has potential.
So why don't we take some of this alongside some potential additions? We could make a sort of soup for while we're on the road.
Lork considers for a moment. Could be good.
If you are to stir them, and he reaches underneath, pulls out a pack. This holds water very well. Leaving them in and putting them in a drink would give it great flavor.
Hmm.
As a merchant, I have an eye for quality goods, and that begs me the question, why is it that you have so much stock left? Where is everyone? The last time I was here, it was much more populous.
Takes a bit of a breath. Times have certainly changed a fair bit. We've got a new ruling family, much less open to most of our practices.
Really?
Aye,
And traffic has slowed down that much, even with how close we are to Grosh?
aye.
That can't be good.
Most are taking what they can, if it's not particularly amicable to the new house, to other places, be them near or far.
Where are desert travelers coming to then on their way to Grosh then? Because this, from what I gathered, generally is where you come once you've exited the desert.
Alas, that's about all that come here now.
Hmm. Well, do you know anything about this new ruling family?
He has a bit of his brows furrow ever so slightly. Most of all, they're very restrictive. They don't like many of the businesses that were being ran here before.
Hmm. I only
They're,
asked because we had relations with the previous family. I'm concerned about what happened to them.
and it would be best that you get on your way, for they are not on good terms.
Hmm. I'll heed your advice, friend. And how much for all of this?
Would you like the bag with it?
What say you, Lork? You think we need it?
Need? No. It could be useful, though.
We'll take it then.
All of it would be 6 silver.
Well, thank you. Take a gold. Keep the change for entertaining me.
He has a bit of a smile. Thank you, stranger. He kinda looks down the halls. Means more than you know.
Darius nods. I'm
Mm,
glad.
He begins re-prepping some of the barrels and gently bunk 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 with the hammer to reseal it.
Mm-hmm. And then he leans in very closely. Just a word of advice. Have you any news from the Empire?
Which one?
The South is seceded from the North. There's soon to be a bloodbath. You should be prepared.
It's a long way away.
Well, the South has set their sights on the kingdoms itself, so it may not be that far away for long.
I was already planning on moving, so thank you.
Of course. Just want to keep people informed.
You're a kind soul, lad.
I do what I can. And Darius waves as he makes his way out. And now that rumor is sure to propagate like wildfire.
Sounds like our business here just got a lot more complicated.
Well, if by complicated you mean good, easier, then I think so. Considering they're on bad terms with the previous royal family, and we were somewhat responsible for their deaths, I think they might take to us more kindly.
Do we
Suppose
know
so.
anything? Do we know anything about the new Well, rulers.
Not much. Hopefully, we can get some more information about it somewhere, but if not, we can always just approach, see if they'll at least give us some message through.
Do you suggest a more direct route then?
If it was me, I would be taking the more direct route, but I'm not alone, so I cannot say what I would do with all four of us. What do each of you think we should do for now? More information around or direct a route?
We did come all the way here. We might as well check around the place, see what else we can pick up.
Sure enough.
Suppose some searching around wouldn't hurt.
And Lorik?
I would frankly like to know more about who's in charge here before we say the wrong thing around them.
Of course. Well, I remember Zell just spoke of one person, I believe, that helped them. It was some sort of fire genasi. I don't believe I did much business with them, but
all I remember is Zell just said he had something made from them.
Do you know what their trade could have been?
It was blacksmithing for sure. I can't remember. It was either something for the orc village that we passed by, or it was something for the villagers that we had helped. I can't exactly recall.
Didn't we pass a smithy on the way in?
I believe so.
Are there any other connections in town that might still be around?
On the west side, I remember a specific guild of people that may or may not still be here that helped us escape after we had a rather abrupt encounter with them. Although I'm reluctant to go there because one of their members was Yuan Ti.
Ah.
Or at least I'm reluctant to go there in good terms.
Understandable.
If we need to, we can.
Hmm.
And I will behave myself.
I'm not worried about that.
Oh, it was mostly me telling myself.
Alright.
First to the smithy. Darius sort of wings his head in while holding on to one of the edges of the door frame and knocks on it. Hail, friend.
Ah, hello, they say as they're kind of pressing the flames of their hands down onto what's currently kind of like the blade of a scythe almost, as they're compressing it down and kind of gently molding it into the shape that they desire. What can I do for you?
I heard of you from one of my friends that came through here a while back. It's almost been half a year now, was it? But well, unfortunately not coming for any particular services, but mostly for information. We don't particularly know many people here, and you are the closest thing to a connection I have.
Kind of stops for a moment, wipes some sweat off his brow, which pretty much immediately evaporates as they do so. What were they like? Might have remembered them.
You probably would remember them. They were human.
Had three. Were they the blue one, the red one, or the really angry one?
He was probably the really angry one. He wasn't blue or red.
Not like him. Like everything was blue. The red one had this like red overcoat, some like black trousers.
He
Angry.
had really short hair. He carried around a large greatsword.
That's the blue one.
I don't remember knowing anyone who matched that second description.
The red one. Well, frankly, I know it's been that long, but I'm surprised that many humans have come through here. I
That's
believe
enough.
he had you make something for some sort of I don't remember the exact specifics, but
Hold on. It was. And he kind of snaps his fingers a couple times. It was some farming equipment for a traveling band. No, not a band. Traveling village.
oh yes, of course, I remember. I remember now. The yes, okay. I know exactly why. Which again, thank you. That was appreciated.
How are they holding up?
I we didn't actually end up stopping. Wait, sorry. The traveling band or my friend?
Your friend.
Oh, he's been on his own for a while. I haven't had the chance to really speak with him much. The last time that we came together was out of necessity, and unfortunately, it almost ended up damning me, but it wasn't of his choice.
Ah, shame. Seemed like a good person. Good friend to have.
He is.
So what you want to know as they get back to kind of compressing down onto new equipment, being that of trying to form consistent nails?
I understand that it's something of a sensitive topic here, but the last time I was through here, there was a different royal family. I was hoping that we could get some information on the new one.
I'm an open book. Tell you what I know. You're not causing too much of a riot, are you?
We'll try as hard as we can not to. If anything, we just want to find something out.
Alright. Shoot.
What's their race? What's the general culture, I would say? 'Cause
General culture. Very by the books. Very into the law and making their presence well known. As far as the family itself, they're a couple elephants, couple tigers.
hmm. Well, that explains why they're so by the books.
From what I heard, just rumor, mind you, but rumor is Queen's got ties to King himself.
Really? And what was their relationship to the previous family? I heard that they're not on good terms.
That's an understatement. Uh, so, what everybody knows, and what's definitely true, is that they used to be one, like there used to be a couple different families here, and they was one of them. The part that's not necessarily true, one that I believe though, is that way back when they got kicked out not because of some reason, but just because they wanted power. I don't know if it's true or not. Makes sense that it would be. No reason not to.
And then
So a
what hap-
simple reason could be that they just had a vendetta, but I think there's more to it than that. I think they just had strings pulled from up top,
hmm.
and I certainly don't like it.
Do you know what became of the remaining members of the previous family?
At least one of them. He kind of takes a step out and points at the, we'll call it a gate, even though it's really just like a slab of stone, where at the wall to the inner sanctum, that area. Oh, geez, I'm not paying down. Up here, if you guys seeing it.
Yep. Where?
Top left,
The
in
wall
between the
that
two
led to the palace.
statues.
Oh, over here?
Mhm.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, much as I like him, Mr. Thenvenon got thrown off the edge of it. Not once, not twice, but 4 times. He was not a sight to see.
And his daughter?
Far as I know, she's out there somewhere. Hopefully plotting to come back. She was nice lass. Not holding my breath though. As he really just, you see his pecs kind of bulge out a little bit as he really crushes just like this raw ore into trying to refine it into a single point.
Mm-hmm.
There was a. I don't know much about Chibalo. This is my first time here, but there was a son too, wasn't there?
Think? If there was, they didn't get out much. Plus, not like it'd matter. She's the one and none.
Even if she wasn't, he's a potential one that could, if even she were to perish. So, if
Yeah.
I were the other family, I wouldn't leave any potential. But it's a shame, though. Do you know if there's any way to go about meeting with, or at least sending a message to the new family?
How long you got? Might take a while.
We preferably we want it to be quick. We've got multiple moving leads that we need to follow between multiple different things. But assuming we have as much time as we need, what would you say?
I think they got a bureaucracy, and it ain't gonna be quick. But you got good chances to try to get an audience.
And would that be expedited if, perchance, we would say we were somehow adversaries as well to the previous family?
Guess is as good as mine.
Hmm.
Certainly hope.
It's pretty clear they're not very transparent about their bureaucracy.
Yeah. Well. Oh, word of advice before someone notices. You wanna leave any of that stuff you got on you here? Or outside buried somewhere? Not supposed to have too much, yeah, stuff. Your, weapons. I assume you don't seem like the kind to have one of the licenses. They're actually taking it, seriously now.
Really?
That's a bit complicated considering I'm his bodyguard.
That's unfortunate. I'm from the south where that's just a rumor more than it is a law.
Well, I wish it was still like that up here. Miss it.
When will I
Say,
learn that?
you're from the main one?
Pardon?
You're from the main one? From, God. What's it? Fucking
It's
Shamster?
don't worry about it. It's an awful name to pronounce in common tongue. I know what you mean. Yes, I am. The last I checked, though, I haven't been there in a while, but I saw a magic at least display of it. It seemed empty, almost abandoned. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, we had a couple refugees come through about a month ago, I wanna say.
He looks over to Lork. How long ago did we?
On the new year.
Weird
He
part
can.
is, like, so many that came, nobody wanted to talk about it. None of them were even willing to, even if they did know, none of them would give me the time of day. You're way chattier than any of them were.
Yes, do you know anything about society from Yuan Ti?
I know they're given special privileges and allowed to do some of their own things. But barring that,
I'm one
can't
of the
say I know
ones that
much
would,
beyond their cuisine.
to put it simply, I'm one of the ones that would interact with humans.
Sounds fun.
So, eh, maybe. Regardless, thank you for all you've said. Do you know, are there any refugees still remaining?
Mm,
Or have they all moved further north to the swamplands?
some of them went north. Most of them actually ended up heading straight, I want to say west? And not many of them came through up here,
That
but
makes sense. This is rather far away from at least most of our known.
most of them that came through had business or things to claim before moving on.
So what would be west of there?
So, Rifter, can you give me the map for a moment?
I hand her the map.
From what I know, you see the desert here, and you see how along the crest of the desert here, there's mountainous terrain.
Right.
Past that, there's denser forest and jungles, almost in a crescent shape across dotted from this peninsula here, which is where I'm from. A crescent shape along the outside of the desert, past the mountainous terrain, there are patches of Yuan Ti civilization up until you meet Grosh. So,
Yeah,
Chibella was rather out of the way for it, if they weren't going to the one or two settlements directly north of here.
so from the few of them I remember, I know a couple of them went to Grosh. Definitely more than anywhere else went to Grosh, but definitely not most of them. Other places, some of them went over to Sorrel. I know a couple of them went to, God, what's it called? The one at the tip of the mouth. Right, Trizen. A couple of them went all the way over to Dugon. Um, and I know one guy was going way over.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not much out there. I wonder why.
He said he was gonna take a boat across, and man, that was don't normally hear that. Because forgive me if this is wrong or stereotype or something. I just go by what I hear. I hear that for the most part you want to do not like sailing. Much too cold for you. Is that kind of true, or is that just something?
As a general rule of thumb, anything that would lower our body temperatures, we tend to stray away from. Despite looking mostly human, we are still cold-blooded.
Well, yeah, all the weirder then.
Maybe to you. He lets out a little chuckle.
Oh, sorry, meant nothing by it.
No, no.
Can
I know
I,
you didn't.
you need anything before you get going?
Other than a place for us to potentially store some weapons, and he sort of looks towards Lorik. And maybe, and he turns to Rifter and lightly, at least like 1 or 2 of your daggers.
I pull out one dagger. I pull out the cursed one.
If you wouldn't mind letting us stow them here.
Sure. He moves over and kind of makes room out of a drawer and like cracks it open in a little compartment, drops out from the bottom for the dagger, and in the more upper part, it's a good little like maybe 4 by 3 by 3 space. So just about everything that's not your largest weapons would fit in there.
Well, I hate to do this, but
He
Lork
pats him
very
on the shoulder.
reluctantly.
He pats him on the shoulder. You're a deadly weapon even without it. Let's see.
I wonder how long it would take to get one of those licenses.
Probably too long for it to be worth our time.
So where are you all heading then? You continuing moving north, or?
Our leads seem to be leading us to Grosh for now, but we saw something potentially here, but it was linked to the palace, so we'll see where that leads.
Well, it's certainly been a nice talk.
Absolutely, and thank you again for letting us stow. Just, do you know if there are any Yuan-Ti that have remained in Chibalo?
He's just kind of shaking his head a bit. He's thinking. I ain't seeing any, but it's not. There's still a few out and about. Sure, there's got to be somebody.
I just didn't know if there were any groups that particularly stayed after home.
Looking for anyone in particular, or just hoping to
Just
see somebody who a friendly face?
maybe not a friendly face, but just a voice. Thank you again.
Yeah, no problem.
Makes his way out. Alright. So we know more about the families. Should we try and set ourselves up a meeting the old-fashioned way?
Perhaps. Or were there any ways into the facility from outside of the palace?
There were, but I would prefer to not get on the bad side of a second royal family of Chibalo.
Understandable. Also, I just realized one potentially terrible problem with my disguise in that last conversation. I barely know anything about the Savage Kingdoms. I don't know any towns, cities, or anything of the sort.
You are not an educated bodyguard. I only hired you because of your strength.
Alright.
I also would like to point out that as they leave, Rifter kind of just points his little finger at him and just take good care of her. And he's referring to his dagger as they leave.
Curse, sir. Which is one of the first times that Rift has ever been called sir.
Let's go.
Definitely, quite possibly the first where it wasn't meant to be like ironic or sarcastic or anything.
Rifter is recognized as a man.
Yeah, I was about to say
Ooh.
I'm a man.
I'm
Furious
a big
breezes
man.
his head back over. Right, where might we schedule ourselves an appointment?
Guess as good as mine. I don't know. Ask one of our guards.
Oh joy. I was hoping to avoid that, but is what it is. Thank you. So, would you say the wall then? He says to like the party.
I know nothing about this place. Your guess is as good as mine.
Less of a guess and more of a shall we be off?
Hmm.
Big map.
Huge.
Big O.
Chungus map.
As they're walking, Rifter also does point out, like he begins drawing a map of Chibalo or the general areas, I guess. And just to make sure I'm pronouncing it right, the capital or Goreth or whatever it's called.
Rush.
Grosh. Okay, I need to write that down. But yeah, he goes ahead and he marks down on his piece of paper, like tapping it, like, by the way, we definitely go ahead to Grosh. If it's the last thing we do.
Eventually, if it
Aye.
leads us there, it's the capital.
Yeah, well, it seems that some shit's going down there, and I find that capitals are typically the most luxurious places to go for political discourse and intrigue.
See, I thought you were going to say something about capitals. I don't know, being where things that we would tend to be involved with happen.
That's what I just said, he says smirkingly. You see as Rifter just gives you this very large shit-eating grin.
Seems today will be full ripe with politics. He sort of like cracks his knuckles, like pushes his head over and cracks his neck a little bit. Ugh, gotta brush up on my skills. I haven't had to do much talking for a little bit.
Shame, I just got some practice back at Gerard Martevere. But,
Too bad you're uneducated.
aye. And this is where I'm worried that my disguise will fail us.
Just stay back and don't speak.
I'll try.
Terry sort of approaches the wall and tries to hail.
Takes you a couple seconds, but eventually one of them looks down. They look at you with no words.
Up to the wall, he says, I have business to meet with the current rulers of this fine city. Do you know where I might apply for an appointment?
You see, but don't hear given the distance. One of them sighs before reaching down, flying, hovering about like maybe 3 or 4 feet in the air before gently whoop, dropping on the ground. Purpose of visit?
Give me a second. He wouldn't be waiting this long, but I have to think
Yeah,
about it.
I understand. Darius is a speaker. Lil's quite a looker, if am I right?
True.
Lork would be inclined to agree with that assessment.
There are a couple reasons for the visit, some of which are secondary, but the primary reason is we have information or questioning regarding the current political state of the empire that we find the leaders should absolutely know of.
Information. Name?
Darius.
Am I right to assume you want to?
You would be.
How many?
Just 4. If you would include the familiar, then 5.
Any other pertinent info?
Other than the current, let me see here. He sort of pulls out his notebook. There could be additional information or questions that I might have, but the primary visit is simply for an update and a potential warning for what's going on.
Alright, then that's the occupation.
I am a merchant.
Alright.
Let's
Kinda
keep in
rolls up
mind.
the piece of paper, squishes it a little bit, and then breaks it in half, handing you half of it.
Thank you.
You-
Do you have any idea how long it might take? This is rather urgent news.
Urgent enough to let me know?
Well, considering it could be the start of a war, yes.
Then let me know. And they look at you with bored, dull eyes.
Fine then. And he sort of just rolls up the piece of paper and takes a step off. Well, we don't know how long it'll be, but
They gently just turn around and float back upwards.
they seem to be rather uninspired in their work, unfortunately.
Was it like this last time?
No, we were brought to the palace last time.
It wasn't because Dyer got in any trouble, was it?
No, he actually was a guest.
That's almost more worrying.
Yes, it's because they knew Zeus.
Yes.
Well, while we wait, there are a couple more directions we could head. Hopefully, when they see the information, they might invite us in a little bit faster than some other random on the street. If all else fails and it's taking too long, we can attempt to see the secondary entrances, but would really like to stay on their good side.
Or, we could potentially send our stealthiest member in.
I'd do it.
Just to get a peek of what's down there, if they've rebuilt it all.
Perhaps. It also doesn't seem like a horrible thing to get on good terms with the rulers of a large city in the Savage Kingdoms. It's rather far from the border, but never know. And besides, if the Volstrom territories manage to, for whatever reason, repel or assimilate the North into their conquest, they would have a very strong naval presence north of this area, and the war might not be so far away.
Aye. The Savage Kingdoms have some rather strong naval defenses themselves, don't they?
Aye, they do, but we are nonetheless limited by, well, we're not as organized, as you can probably tell. Or at least from what I know. Who knows what the machinations of Grosh are?
Have you ever been there before?
No. Rarely do any of us ever cross the desert. Alright, but there's potential to see. I believe they were this way.
Alright then.
Do you recall, Rifter? I believe we met them because of another Kenku that was being harassed.
Remember it clear as day.
Good, good. It was, and he points to the building right here. Right here.
Yeah. And I go ahead. I remember there being a specific knock. Correct me if I'm wrong, DM.
You do not know if there was one for this building.
Okay, but I do remember that there was a knock specifically associated
Right,
with this.
but it was for a different spot. It
Yeah,
was not
yeah.
here.
And
Yeah.
it was, wasn't it also a different faction?
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
it
it
was
was their rivals.
It was a rival.
Oh, okay. That's what I remember. Never mind then. Rifter is going to go ahead and look to Lork to knock on the door.
What Rifter is Rifter right now, by the way?
He's Rifter.
Yeah.
Wait, me? Wouldn't they trust one of you more?
Well, considering I almost killed one of them.
Fair enough.
The
You got the
door
best
get
smile of us.
the door barely gets opened, and you see a locks it on the other side who looks out at you, looks at the group of you. Go away, and closes the door.
Was that one of them,
I don't remember.
Rifter?
Rifter, you would remember that. That's the one that almost fucking died.
Oh, okay. Rifter nods and he says, he's not going to like us. He almost died last time.
Well, at least we know that that's the information. What was the name of the one that was kind to us? Do you remember?
Ugh. Hazard a guess.
I believe she was some sort of elf, merfolk, something. Could be wrong. Well, we could knock again.
Alright, I guess I'll do it. Just stand to the side.
I don't like where this is going, but
Darius, if you could stand more to the side. Lork is going to knock on the door.
I said fuck off.
I understand. I can speak common.
Then are you too dumb to understand it?
Darius is gonna like rub his temples for a second and then take a step up behind Lorik. I believe you have a vested interest in seeing us.
Go away.
What was her name again?
Rifter kind of knocks on the door as well and says, hey lads, if you want some future coin, you better come out now.
A good many moments go by until eventually he responds again. Listen, I don't know what you think you're gonna get here, but you ain't gonna find it. It's just me. Now go away. I don't want to talk to you, and you don't want to talk to me. So please, Just make this easy for both of us.
You want us to go away, we want to leave. What happened to everyone else?
They left just like everybody else's. Now get out of here.
Alright then.
Thank God. I can see now why he was the one that almost died.
Do we have any other leads? Any other people that you associated with here?
There was the other faction, the one that was more kind to us.
Shall we pay them a visit then?
We could. Was quite hoping that these ones would still be here.
Why is that?
For no other reason than the Yuan Ti. So that I could speak
Ah.
with them about what happened. But, you know what, they might not have been on the best of terms. Anyways,
Perhaps not.
I believe they were in the northeastern side of the city.
Alright then. Lead the way.
He then sort of slows down to let Rifter walk in front of him as he sees the Kenku.
Genki's looking around, with like a cup and a basket nearby. And as you approach, they kind of start to hold out their cup and then they stop and they just like squint at you.
In Orin, Rifter just says, "Hello, brother."
They look around for a moment. Oh no, Slork got stuck. Help stab
is
Slork.
stuck.
They look both ways, shake their head a little bit, move around over here, barely peek around, making sure not to stick their beak out too much, and make their way up.
Rifter follows him.
This looks like a rather interesting establishment right here. What is it exactly?
Don't worry about it for now. I can explain it to you later.
Alright.
It's an interesting experience. If you want, we could experience it. But for now, we have something to do.
They make their way inside this building.
Rifter's gonna go ahead and walk in, and he's going to say, "Greetings and salutations, my comrades."
At this point, the tiger among them ends up taking a look at you and says, "Now that's a sight for sore eyes."
Rifter takes a very low, noble bow, and he says, "Aye, it has been a while."
It has, before everything went to shit. Trust things have been
Yes.
better for you than for us.
He kind of like gives dinner plate face, and he just says, "Yes, about our current predicaments. We have some news regarding it." And he kind of like showmanship wise steps out in front to present Darius.
Don't know if you recognize me at all. He was rather the better face.
No, unless you were wearing the mask.
Mask. Oh, Aquila.
But first thing off, we're here. You know, of course, everything went to shit and everything. You wouldn't be surprised if we were somewhat responsible for that, would you?
I would. But let's say I wasn't.
let's open with they took someone, we got them back. But it's beside the point. It's not why we're here. We came back because in the palace where they were taken, underneath it, there was some sort of lab, one that we saw a replica of in another city. And we've come back to see if we can't reconvene any information from this one. But seems like there's a new ruling party, so.
Listen, okay, I get that, and I'm glad that your friend helped us before. But you're honestly coming here telling us that you caused some of our friends to die and many of the rest of them to leave, and you're asking to what? What are you asking us to do after that?
I'm not here to ask you to do anything. I'm here to give you guys a warning. Something is going to happen soon. Whether or not it'll reach this area, I don't know. But whether or not you can make something out of it, I know for sure. The Northern Empire and the Southern Empire are at war.
And that changed how?
The Southern Empire has fully seceded and has set its sights on the kingdoms. In that,
Oh, you mean the East? Ah.
yes, the East, the Perun Empire, quote unquote. Now, whether or not it's going to reach here is another matter, but whether or not you can make something out of it, I know for sure. There is going to be a lot of foot traffic from the southern kingdoms now. Either running away or moving to. Grosh is going to be sending forces to shore up the border. I know that for sure. I don't know exactly what it is you deal in, but I know that if you deal in something, then you can make money off of it.
And so what? This is just supposed to be a kind piece of advice from a friendly stranger? The tiger says with the Kenku, kind of starting to look at him with a little bit of a side eye.
Let's say that it's in some ways reparations for what happened here, and in other ways an act of good faith for potential interactions moving forward.
The the Kenku begins to kind of move and be on the wall near where Rifter is.
Rifter just kind of in a cordial fashion, he just says, we're really not too different actually. You hate the Empire, I hate the Empire. If anything, we should be allies.
Listen, I don't care what they do as long as they stay away. And honestly, I'm sorry, I'm being hostile. If that's true, you caused a lot of shit. You know that?
I'm full well aware.
So why are you back here then? You're not just here to say hey. You're not just here to tell people the good word and give warning. So what is it?
If the normal route fails, if it's too slow for us, we need some way to get into the palace. I wanted to remain on good terms with the current royalty, to try and build something off of it, but if it's not possible, I need a backup.
And that's it?
And that's it.
Alright. You got two options. And after this, we're even. Both for the info and for the help you gave earlier. Alright. So first, at least from what I heard from your friend, is the way that y'all already know. We ended up taking a couple more looks at it these last few whiles since you've been gone. Quite frankly, they don't seem to use it anymore. Hell, I don't even know if they know. Did it seem particularly, I don't know, hidden from the other side?
I hadn't taken a look yet out of worry that the perched guards would see us moving in. I had no basis on knowing how much they knew of the underground area, so I wanted to remain cautious until I knew more.
If I was to guess, if I was a gambling man, I'd say they don't even know.
Hmm.
More importantly, though, about kind of starts moving to take a step outside, which includes Schoenhoff's pathing. Kind of takes a look out, stares at the moon for a bit. Yeah, in about 4 hours, there's a pretty big guard shift. Some of them on the northeast side, they ain't particularly, let's just say good at their job. And take a while to get settled in. If there's ever a time to just go over, that'd be it.
It seems rather risky to go in when all the guards are there, though. Even if it is just in the commotion of changing the shift.
If it was the past, I'd tell you you're right. But I'm gonna tell you right now, none of them care anymore.
Hmm.
I'd argue the common rule of any good thief with the assault. It's not about how many people are there. It's about how many people are there that are paying attention.
Plus, if everyone's there, they're all gonna expect someone else to do their job. It's how we do it, and it works.
Why is it that they don't care anymore?
It's all the fucking rules.
Hmm.
Like, sure, they're the guards, but they're still subject to all the same shit as we are.
I have heard they're very by the books and strict with it, but I've not heard anything about the rules themselves. What makes it so suffocating?
You can't do half of what you want to do anymore. The foods that you can sell, the activities you get to enjoy, the times a day that you're allowed to sleep. We have mandatory sleeping now. They're trying to get us in sync with the rest of the fucking kingdoms. Now we just don't get to do anything anymore. It's just. It's childish. She's trying to make her own perfect little play toy out of us.
It sounds not unfamiliar.
Hmm. Well, should we fall back to a back option? Would you prefer to stay under this current rulership, or would you prefer to have a change?
Quite frankly, it don't matter to us much longer.
I assume you're leaving?
Us and half of everyone else.
Suppose nobody benefits from an empty city. With how suffocating they are, I won't be surprised if they stop people from leaving eventually.
If they're really by the books, they won't. And if
Well,
there are, I'm sure some friend of the Zeron will let them know.
Well,
And it's a big if. Now, any kind of moves toward and kind of hand gestures towards the door, if you will.
of course.
Thank you.
The Genku kind of sticks their head out. And Oron just gives you a couple words.
Rifter nods and he gives the Kenku a handshake.
And they return it in kind.
He continues along his way with the rest of his party, being the Birdman of his respective group. I'm the Birdman. Let's
You're
go.
the diversity hire.
I am the diversity.
Burden group like other burden group.
Birds together strong.
So we're doing it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I hate that we are. We'll start with the underground, correct?
Hmm.
At least try and stay on good sides.
Yeah.
Hi.
All right.
This can't continue.
I was hoping to establish potential trade relations or imports from here, but with how suffocating they've been, Lord knows that that might not be possible.
And besides, it's the land route. A very difficult land route at that.
It would be, but at the same time, keeping people open for potential future trade routes. I always want to keep people's minds open. Grosh manages to import things, and it's already an enormous land route.
Isn't it? Where is Grosh exactly?
It is on the edge of a river, but most of the Savage Kingdoms are not accessible by that river. Most of that's exports for the outer reaches, the outer cities.
Can I give you a slight correction on that being something not so much of a correction, but more of a more detailed thing that Darius would absolutely know?
Yeah.
River trade is a lot less viable in the Savage Kingdoms than it is in a lot of Perun because much more of the like rivers are rapids or have like more debris, like a little bit of waterfalls. Like the rivers are not as navigable.
And even if there were more rivers in the Savage Kingdoms, most of them are unnavigable by any naval means.
There's a lot more elevation and a lot more jagged rocks, riptides, waterfalls, those deals.
So it seems like any sea trade would have to be done by bringing it from the coast to the city then.
I believe Grosh has itself situated in a way that the river to the sea itself are somewhat navigable, but outside of that, it's anyone's guess.
Where would they trade to if sea trade is so treacherous in the kingdoms?
I'm not entirely sure the exact naval routes. I haven't done much business from Grosh, if any. Most of them are just somebody else had imported something from somebody else that had imported something from somebody else from Grosh. The supply chain is very convoluted and not always straightforward. So, we have ourselves signed up. We have 2 potential routes. Let's start by going under. And while we're here, what relationship do each of you want to make with this potential royal family? Because it seems like they're suffocating the city out of life.
They have to go.
Well, you know me, I'm all for peaceful negotiations, but, you know, if they're unwilling to budge, so be it.
I think
It's
we
true.
should do what we came here for and worry about them once the job's finished.
Of course. We
Aye.
do what we need first, but I just wanted to know each of your outtakes for what comes next. Always be thinking one step ahead.
Aye.
I'd like to think that they're doing this in, a good natured, well meaning, but naive attempt to keep the masses safe. But, could also just be cunts.
They seem just conservative to a wild degree.
Safe from what exactly? Chibalo seems rather isolated.
I don't know. I'd like to get to the bottom of it.
The Loxodont that I've met before have always been quite lawful, so it could have something related to that, but it wouldn't be all of it. Lorik, are you coming?
Aye. Apologies. Just lost in thought.
Yeah, I get it. With all that armor, you gotta keep up with us.
Alright. I believe this was the door. He tries the handle.
It is locked.
Brief Tar Siatu.
Out of
You'll
character,
speak.
wasn't it the
Tar
one on the west?
CO2 indeed.
Give it to
Wait,
me.
okay. Roll 20 is being stupid. Okay. There we go. Thieves' tools.
And see it? He's in. 3. Takes about maybe 15, 20 seconds, and you get a little as it slides right on open.
Cake.
Oh, apparently I have 2 doors there for some reason. That is quite bizarre.
By Jove, I've done it. I've unlocked the secret hidden double door.
Time to make another thieves' tools check.
It's a fake door.
Come on, let me grab the... There we go. Whoop.
It doesn't seem as though there's anything in there.
Hold on.
Out of character, wasn't it the one to the left that was whole?
They were both.
Yeah,
They both
yeah.
were.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
We saw somebody come into this one, and we'll go into the other one.
Alright.
We originally got suspicious because we saw someone come into this one, and then we followed another person into the other one.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my my meta knowledge separate.
Don't worry about it.
Well, who wants to go first?
Well, I would say if it was me in the past, I would, but can't
Yeah,
exactly
sure, why
be
not?
as well.
Rifter's anxious to get this all over with, so he's willing to jump down into the hole. Or glide down, or whatever, however methods we plan on traversing this.
There's a ladder,
Slide
isn't
down
there?
the ladder, right?
Okay,
Mhm.
there's a ladder. Cool. Rad, I go down the ladder.
He's
Or
a
you
ladder
go down
boy.
second.
Wow, imagine being hate. I can't believe Lorik would go down on hate like this.
Uh-oh. That
He
breaks
would never do
canon.
such a thing.
No, it breaks meta.
Yeah, Rifter uses the ladder glitch abuse to make his way throughout the speedrun.
Ding 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 ding. I'm gonna I just remembered that yeah, no, the lighting fucking blows. Because I do like a third of the building in like one go, so I can't like change shit. Never mind, I did like the entire building in like one go. Shit blows.
Seeing cringe.
I have yawned. I'm tired.
Your
We can
mom yawns to college.
we can
I'm so
probably do a
tired.
good bit more.
Oh my god, wait. Oh no, it's the mushroom thing.
I cannot see.
Oh god!
You cannot see? Does your character not have sight? It is in the bottom right.
I can see.
I mean, I see my token. I do not see anything else.
Hmm. That is weird. I just copy and pasted the same thing as was upstairs.
I also have control over him, so I
It
don't
says you
know.
has sight.
Well, I can see this.
Please tell me that's not one of those things. I can't see it very well.
Let's try that. Can you see that?
Yes.
How bizarre.
Don't worry. Literally all we have to do is not startle them. Just move without being sudden.
Let me know when you would like me to light a torch.
I would say don't. Not yet.
Alright.
Just one step at a time.
The place, you could almost say, looks completely untouched, barring the fair bits of the excretions and bloods of the little shumites that have been all around.
I would say light a torch now, but keep the flame hidden from your back and slowly show it so they don't get startled by the sudden light.
Alright. Lorik attempts to carefully light a torch so as not to scare shrooms.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity real quick.
That is my least favorite thing to do.
Give him dexterity.
Good.
It's not terrible, actually.
He's good. He's alive. He has not been talofragged.
Hero slain.
Edit.
Unstoppable.
There you go, everyone.
That body looks like it's seen better days.
It has been a half a year.
Oh hey, my handiwork.
Well, it seems that nobody's been in here since then, if that's the case. Well, except for these things. God,
Sims.
what is with their eyes?
Just don't look at them.
They don't exist. Just ignore them. They're just casual abominations against the icons.
I hate these things. What way from here?
Let's follow this path.
Alright. Fewer mushrooms this way, I imagine.
Hopefully. They have been wandering for a while, so anywhere that's open, there's probably at least one.
Is there anything we need to worry about along
Hold.
this path?
Hold. This is where the eels were. We were able to pass pretty freely because the glass broke and they dried out and died. It's been a half a year. I can only imagine that they're dead now. Let me peek my head out alone first.
Alright, I'll drag you back in if something happens.
Yes, it looks like it's fine now. Alright, so this was
Alright.
the direction we needed to cross past to get to some of the areas behind. Which means, let me just hand me the torch for a moment.
Aye,
Let me head
of course.
head forward. Just stay here. I want to double check.
Lorik hands Darius the torch.
Loth?
Uh-oh.
JC's dead.
What do you mean?
Uh-oh.
A. Sternhoff is stuck in the wall.
Hey,
B.
Shunov is stuck in the wall.
Stuck.
B. He said that he handed me the torch.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what's wrong with that. Is it not enabled on this map?
Is what enabled?
Don't worry about it yet.
Oh fuck. That sounds
Uh,
bad.
Okay, no, it should be restricting movement. Weird. Alright, we'll trade it over.
He's going to very, very, very slowly approach to just see the inside of the room before backing back off. Aye, that's what I thought. It's back this way. We have to cross past that other mushroom that was walking around in that area back there.
God.
Excuse me.
Aye,
Excuse
of course.
me. Sorry, don't mean to step on you, Slork. Oh, there we
It
go.
just kind of coos.
Lorik, if you would, I don't think I can really get past you. Thank you.
If I recall correctly, the way they moved them was they put like something in front of their eyes. Something was distracting them to keep them fixated on one thing. I don't remember what it was. Rifter, do you remember what it was?
There was something in the Korheim one. It was a lizard foot, I think. It was on a string.
Right, some sort of... True, I remember now.
Myself and Hate weren't quite sure what it was for.
The same one was likely used here to keep them enthralled. Hug to the wall. Even if it approaches you, don't startle it.
I really hate these things a lot.
You've made that abundantly clear, Lorik.
I know. There's just something uncanny. It's like they don't belong in this world.
Is this a door here?
It is. It is the big metal slabs that protected some of the more inner sections of it.
Mm-hmm. Can we open?
It has some small metal runes on one of the sides of it.
Darius touches it.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
What does Hate have on their spell sheet? Let's take a look.
Hate prepares different things every day. I don't know what.
Divination? No, that's a lot of money. Man, why do all the divination spells have to cost so much money?
Because knowledge is power and power don't come cheap.
Yeah, but fireball is power too, and you don't see that costing any money.
Fireball is not power. Fireball is just murder.
Yeah, and murder is power.
Nope, just
Yeah, I
murder.
agree. Murder is power.
Nope, mortar provides power. Murder is not power. Murder is a weapon just like any other.
Yeah, weapons
Skilled in the right,
power.
skilled when used by one who knows the tool, but pointless
Sounds
in
like
the
a
hands
little
of
iffy.
one without.
All I'm hearing is you coping.
True.
All I'm hearing is that y'all are frauds and don't know how to do real murder.
I'll have you know that murder is my least favorite thing to do.
Thanks, Carl.
Okay, so
Anyway,
did I
yes. Back to
did
the.
yeah, back to the game.
Do the runes on the door look like they're in any specific language?
Yup. Infernal.
Ah. Is it something where a sequence of runes has to be completed or something?
Rifter, you'd remember that from last time. You just ended up snitching a little, like, magic stone from the bodies of one of the elite people who had been, like, managing the area.
Mm-hmm.
And that had used that to open it.
I see. Herder says, last time I recall, we used a device of some kind, magic in nature.
Oh, oh, geez,
What'd you
that's
get?
another big yawn.
I wouldn't mind calling it soon, Suri 12.
Let's see if we can get into the door first.
My coffee lasted me much less long than I was expecting.
Rip. This is tragic.
Yeah.
Rip.
Do we remember where we left the stones, or if we brought them, or?
You definitely would not still be carrying them.
Okay. So
Perhaps
yeah.
one is still on one of the people who was. We saw bodies. Perhaps. I don't know.
We could check. What do they look like, Rifta?
Uh, how big are they? How
They being the, like,
the stone?
devices? Maybe like inch and a half in diameter.
I say they're about yay long, yay big, glowing, specific color. And do I remember if it was like one solid color, or it was each one was a different color?
It was like pretty much just a solid flat gray.
Okay, they're looking a
Very
bit
boring,
drab.
very mundane, and also surprisingly light. Not like
Very drab, not much artistic merit.
Alright. Well, we can go check the bodies.
Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and look
we'll skip
around.
forward. You guys search around. It's not in the one nearest by, but it's in the one that's slightly farther up that you end up grabbing from, and you come back and it opens up after a good couple seconds of figuring out how to actually like press the button onto it.
Interesting.
Got. And that should do it.
It begins like raising up before folding in on itself a couple times.
These magic devices are so strange. How in the hell did one of those get in here?
About to find out.
As you take a look around the immediate area, you see as there are a couple splatters of blood on this part of the wall along with a couple chips out of it.
Hmm.
Those are just regular wooden doors.
Lork's gonna push this door open
But
gently in case there's another mushroom behind it.
Whee!
haha, get destroyed.
That was anticlimactic.
I'll hold this one.
Alright. And he does the same.
Whee!
Why am I not surprised?
I wouldn't be.
And these other things here. What are they?
Corpse, it looks like, and something here.
Corpses and bone parts.
I believe that right there is Rakt's mother.
Hmm.
Let's see, the containers were further west, but they were around a northern How did we get there? This was where the
Kalima.
Kalima was, right?
The Kalima.
Also, wasn't Rack's mom found like right here?
No, they were
Like
killed
this was
in.
where.
It was like there, give or take.
Okay, because I thought that this was where the creatures with prosthetics were.
No, this is where the displacer beast. Like it was in a different room where the displacer beast killed.
Oh, okay. Killed the enhanced creatures.
Plus Rakt's mom.
Would we like to call it about here?
Yeah, sure.
I'd say so, yeah.
Another day without combat, but hopefully one with enough intrigue and merits of its own to grant us a good satisfaction to our night. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves and look forward to seeing everyone and hopefully actually being everyone this next time for hopefully another session in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
I'll catch you all there.
Picture.
Peace,
Yep.
everyone.